The color-coded learning system is something that I learned quite by accident. I'm a big fan of Men's Health magazine, and all of you are going to see why in probably 6 months. But I noticed in reading the articles that they color code everything. It's a little tiny color code, and there was an article on like the best men's colognes, for example. And I'm like, well, how in the world do you know what? And I noticed that everything is color coded, and they used orange, yellow, green, and blue. And I'm like, well, what's that all about? And I did a little bit of research on the internet and found out it's actually a biblical thing that's been used for years and years. Actually was used by the Egyptians. And what it is when you learn something or create something, and I do a lot of copywriting, I do a lot of systems for dental offices. And the way it works, like if I'm doing a copywriting project, I'll write it, and then I'll go through it the first time with an orange marker and mark the things I don't like or the words that don't work or whatever. And then we have a system in the office where, I do that, and we have a couple ladies proof it, and they do things, and then I get it for the second go through. And then the next color is yellow, which is not one of my favorite colors, but then you go through with yellow and do the same process. And then you go through and do the same process with green, and then the final is with blue. And that's the way Men's Health is. If you look at the articles, there's a little bitty thing of those colors on every article where it talks about products. And what I discovered is that, at least the way it's explained on the internet, is when you think about it, the orange represents earth. Then the yellow, the next step is kind of, churning the ground or something's happening with the earth. And then the green is like, grass is growing or vegetables are coming out. And then the blue is either the sky or the ocean, depending on which way you interpret it. So it's something that's been used for, thousands of years. And why it works, we really don't know. I mean, according to everything I looked at on the internet, I really didn't find a good answer. There's a lot of theories. So what I've started doing is, in our office, we are real big on systems. We have flow sheets for everything. If we're doing a crown prep, we do this, we do this, we do this, everything's a system. So we start using this and just found out it really improved our systems. And then the other thing we found out was, when you're teaching something new to your team, like, if it's a new system on, collections or a new system on how to do new product, we start using the same process on them. And, I have one son who's already got his MBA, I have a daughter who's in college now. And so she's like, what are you doing, Dad? I said, well, I've learned this new learning system. And, she looks at me like I'm crazy, and I said, look, that's pretty cool. And I explained it to her. And, about a month later, she came back and she said, gosh, this works, Dad. She says, because I can remember things, because I just think, okay, orange, and then I think yellow, then I think green, and I think blue. And she goes, I can remember stuff. And I'm like, yeah. I said, it's pretty amazing. So dentist, I don't know why it works. I'm going to be talking about it. We're having a seminar in Dallas, and I think it's September 28th and 29th. And myself and Sasha, who will be the youngest MBA graduate in the history of University of Michigan, very, very sharp lady, we're going to be doing a bonus session from like, it's late. It's like 7 to 11, I think, at night. And we're going to be sharing some of the stuff that you really don't want to put in magazines, but, really cool off-the-wall stuff. And one of the things we're going to be talking about is this color-coded learning system, because she has started using it, and we're finding all kinds of different things where it works, and we don't understand why it works. We have a couple theories, but we don't know why it works. But just try that. You can do a Google search for color-coded learning, and there are several things you'll find, but you want to use the one that uses orange, yellow, green, and blue, and that's the one that works.